So let's face it, when you're a high achiever in business, you spend all of your time grinding and going to grow your business and to make it successful. And sometimes what happens is that you lose sight of your work-life balance. You find yourself out of balance. And what that does is it sucks the joy out of all of your achievement. Who wants that? Who wants to grow their business, have a successful business, but not be happy? Really, nobody. So, how would you bring your life into this perfect, or at least this harmony of life work balance? How would you balance busyness with joy? Today, on the Waist Up Wardrobe episode, we're going to be talking to my guest who knows how to bring those two things into harmony. Busy, but balanced. That's the key. Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, a civil engineer and attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally for the camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk. Hello, Waist Up Wardrobe Nation. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Waist Up Wardrobe, where we try and bring you episodes on entrepreneurship, how to show up to dominate from behind the desk on camera, and really help you have an answer to everything business related and entrepreneurial related. Today, we have a very special show talking about that work-life balance conundrum that we're always sort of trying to bring into harmony with each other, right? But before I get started, I want to say thank you to my amazing producer, Rick Moscoso, who's always in the green room, in the production room, making everything happen on this production, making it go seamlessly. There he is, popping his avatar head and letting us know that he's there. And thank you for tuning in time after time on Thursdays at 11:30 Pacific. You know we're on iTunes, where you can go and listen to us if you're taking a walk on the beach or driving in the car for a long distance. We have so many great shows that will help enhance your entrepreneurial life and business life and help you show up great on camera, body, mind, soul, everything, face, putting your best face forward. So we're also on YouTube and Facebook, and you can always go back and listen to any of the replays. So take advantage of those. And also rate us and review us on iTunes, because we always love to hear from you. So without carrying on and talking so much, I just want to talk and brag a little bit about my guest. And Susie Hickson is here, and she's saying hello, everybody. And Susie, you're in for a treat. Today's guest is really, is going to help us explore the question of that all of us really question, that balance between business and pleasure, work and life, and how to stay busy but also be balanced at the same time. And so my guest today, Charis Santilli, is a life balance coach and founder of Charis Your Life. She is a podcaster, speaker, certified fearless living coach, certified fearless trainer, and positive intelligence trainer, and has been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. Back when she was 19, in a hot air balloon accident, Charis was was in this situation where her dad was left paralyzed after an accident with a broken neck. And this led her mom to become, to succumb to alcoholism. Charis managed her internal crisis by staying ridiculously busy. She now helps high achievers go from busy to balanced and find lasting inner satisfaction and peace of mind when their external accomplishments leave them unfulfilled. What a great journey of purpose in life. Please help me welcome Charis. Hi, Charis. How are you?
Hi, good. So happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for agreeing to be here. I really, the topic that we're going to be talking about today is your life's work and passion is really such an important thing for entrepreneurs because, like I said at the top of the show, we get so busy building, right? We want to achieve, we want to get that next client, we want to make more money, we want to profit, and we want to build teams. But we forget sometimes ourselves in the process because we're just so busy being high achievers, right? And today's topic is going to be really important for so many to hear. So, before we get started, I have this thing that I do on Waist Up Wardrobe where I really want to get a window into your personal life because everybody likes to know what goes on behind the scenes of the experts' lives. So, really quick this or that questions. Are you ready?
Yep.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs all the way. I'm also allergic to cats, so that poses a problem. But all my marketing has my dog in it. And she normally would be like, I have a bed on my desk next to me, or her bed. So she'd normally be here, except for when I do podcasts, she's upstairs. But yeah, she's very sweet. 4.5 pound Havapoo named Heidi. And you see her everywhere.
Oh, how cute. And you know what? Susie Hickson, who's right here, is also has a little pooch, and he's always in the picture frame as well. So we have a lot of business owners, it's like I feel like dogs are sort of these angels from heaven.
Yeah.
They have this, they just want you to love them and they love you back. That's all they do. It's pretty remarkable to really think deeply about what a dog offers to human beings. Okay, how about coffee or tea?
I have tea every day,
Okay.
multiple times per day,
Okay.
and coffee probably half of the days of the week. And just literally this week, I tried mud water for the first time as a coffee alternative, if you ever heard of mud water. Mushroom, some concoction, that they've made now and more natural. And I have to say it was decent. So anyway, yeah, so I guess the answer is both plus some variations that I'm exploring.
Well, as you were talking about mud water, you did muffle out a little bit, but you're back on. So just so you know, but I think we're all good. And Susie's saying that Sadie's sitting on her lap. That's her little puppy, or he's not a puppy. He's an adult dog, but they're like our babies. And that mud water thing, Instagram has been hitting me with that ad, and I just don't know what is the hype. Is it taste good? Is it
It
healthy?
it does. I think it depends on your taste if you're gonna be a big fan of it or not. But it is definitely healthier. That is the main thing. Healthier and not won't give you kind of the sometimes if coffee can give you kind of a spike and kind of a crash for some people or just irritate. For me, I find if I have too much coffee too frequently, it can just be irritable, kind of irritate my stomach too much. And yet sometimes it's like exactly the right thing and my body loves it. So it addresses all of those things.
Yeah, and Susie's saying she loves mushroom coffee. She even has a recommendation for us, and Rick will probably put it up right now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Is it called Reese is a great one? Is that how you pronounce it? Rise? Oh, maybe Rise.
Rise, play on words, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, okay. Well, maybe something to try in the future for us. But I have one more question. If you had to be active in two ways, one being dance or football, which one would you choose?
Dance for sure. Yep, yep, yep. Big part of my life actually. I used to be a dancer, so that was I would spend probably 20 plus hours at the dance studio after school when I was a kid.
I
Yeah.
think dance is one of those things that is just one of those freeing things. It's kind of like ice skating. You feel like you're or swinging on a swing. It just feels freeing if you
Mhm.
do it well.
Also how I met my husband on the dance floor at his fraternity.
Oh, well, that
So
has sentimental reasons too. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit of you with us. And I want to go ahead and dive deep into your line of work because I think so many people could use this information. So, one of the things I wanted to bring up, I'm a firm believer that, people's greatest gift lies next to their deepest wound. And then I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but it's true. People will often um, find their life's purpose because they had been impacted in some way. And it doesn't always have to be trauma, but they were impacted or they saw somebody they love get impacted. Do you have any thoughts around that?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you touched on my story, my backstory in the beginning just a little bit, and that's absolutely for me. Um, I my family experienced a very serious traumatic accident, and it completely shaped our, the direction of our lives and my life. I mean, it was at the very beginning of my adulthood, just the summer I turned 19. So it was just like literally the summer after my freshman year of college. I hadn't really gotten out of the nest fully, and it definitely had a huge impact. And it's interesting, we're using that word because it literally was about bracing for impact. I'll tell a little bit of the story. It was for my dad's 50th birthday, and we were celebrating with a hot air balloon ride. And we had a beautiful ride, and then something went wrong when we came down to land. And the pilot told us, "Hold on tight, we're gonna hit hard." And we did. We hit the ground hard, the basket did that we were in, and it violently bounced and it threw my dad out of the basket. And then his foot got caught on a cord and it drug him about the length of a football field through farm fields, because this was in southeastern Washington state. So I remember seeing him hanging upside down, like suspended in the air and looking over the edge and seeing him there. And I was obviously a complete wreck and completely scared beyond, I mean, anything I could imagine. I don't know how we did, but somehow we did get to the ground and ran over to him, and he wasn't moving, but he was conscious. So, and he was fully with it, his brain, thank God. And he saw how upset I was. And the first thing he said to me was, "You should see the other guy." He was able to crack a joke.
Wow.
And, it paralyzed him, it broke his neck, and then, as you mentioned too, that led my mom on a path of coping through alcohol, and she became an alcoholic, and ultimately, that ended up taking her life. The alcoholism did, and my coping mechanism was get busy, stay busy. I mean, it even started the night of the accident. If I really look back, I can see kind of gathering myself together after the initial just complete breakdown of emotions, and then, like, just looking for what can I do to not have to feel nervous and scared and worried right now. And so it was getting busy calling family and all my parents' employees because they're entrepreneurs, and like just get busy. How can I help? And then that led me on a path of, well, I was already ambitious and I followed my parents' footsteps in that, being in an entrepreneurial household. And I was a straight A student, and I was already a certain way,
Yeah.
but this took it to an extreme and to an unhealthy level over the next couple decades. And that was really, now I know, because the last 10 years I've spent on healing that and coming to terms and changing my life, um, which has led me to now help others change theirs, was, really an unconscious control, trying to have control
Yeah.
and trying to uh, basically trying to avoid feeling my feelings. So, and it did that to some degree, but it caused all kinds of other problems. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that is what happened.
Thank you for sharing your story. I think that is, it's amazing how some tragic things in our lives lead us to our purpose or lead us to something that we never would have thought of had we not gone through that. And your dad, remarkable. I mean, just the sounds like he is an amazing man. I mean, to be able to comfort you in that moment by being humorous, I think that says so much about him. And so that's such a blessing to have a dad like that. So busyness. So you started becoming busy to to really cope with the circumstances of your life. And did that lead you to a place where you were not balanced? Is that how all that came about? Where you then became this coach about really being healthy in your
Mhm.
business? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I became a workaholic over time, and I became an entrepreneur and started my own business, a couple over the years, and um, it's very easy to then get so immersed,
Right.
especially in the startup and growth. And it's just like the just never ending to do list for everybody, but especially when you're a business owner. Um, and then the unhealthy part was, nights and weekends, like just nonstop. Easy to do it because I enjoy a lot of it. I mean, I really was enjoying most of what I was doing, and yet not really rounding it out and compromising my mental health and my physical health. So chronic back problems and at one point working I mean, there were some times when I was working 80 to 100-hour weeks, and the body just, and especially as I got older, at different times would go through spurts like that, and my body clearly was rebelling and trying to wake me up. There was one time when it just like all the symptoms started piling on. It was the more back stuff, body aches, random things, panic attacks started kicking in, just anxiety, just one thing after another, and it's just not a way to live. So, there were earlier signs, earlier flags, but there were a few times in my life where it got to be pretty extreme to really give me a
Yeah.
wake up call.
And so it put you out of balance. It sounds like you were, you got the achieving part down, but it came at the expense of the other parts of your life, your health, your
Mhm.
wellness, your peace of mind. And that is not an uncommon thing. People do end up doing that. And that's why your support, the kind of support you offer, is so needed. When it comes to life balance, do you have like a definition for it? Because what really does that look like? And the word balance is always so overused. I always like to call it harmony more than balance, because you can't always have everything in every area of your life doing great at the same time. It's almost like there's, when one goes down a little bit, the other one comes up. But that's my view. What is your definition of life balance?
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you asked because um, it's a term that is thrown around, and yet when I was creating like my program name or coming up with my tagline and different things and what I was going to really focus on for people, I found, well, first of all, this is the term that people tend to like. I once did a survey and it was just constantly the words busy and balanced and work life balance. And that was the most common phrasing. So I thought, well, okay, this is what people think of first when they think of the issue that they have. But I agree with you. It is more about harmony, and it is not a destination. It is not a perfect equation. It's not like if I work exactly X hours a day, this many days a week, and I work out this many days, this many hours, and if I see my friends this often and I see my family and I cut off at this time, and like this kind of perfect thing, because I tried going for that once too, because good old, perfectionism would come in there. Um, it's impossible, and that equation is there's no way. So, it's more about alignment, which I think is more connected to harmony, and I kind of have this visual of literally, like, all these parts of ourselves, our physical, our mental, our, spiritual, whatever that means, even if it's not spiritual, but, heart, feelings, all of it just, and different parts of our life, all of it just being pieces. And if something feels off to us, the more we're feeling uncomfortable feelings that are lasting. I think all feelings are helpful and have purpose. So I don't believe there are truly any negative feelings. Yet, if you're finding that a lot of your time is spent in quote unquote negative feelings or uncomfortable feelings, then and or body issues, those are signs that things are off balance for you. And I also think that an important piece is that what is balance for one person is different for another. And what is balance for you one day is different than what it may be the next day. So it's all about getting into what is going to be that harmony that day for you. what's going on with your whole system. I mean, we have cycles of all kinds. Women have a monthly cycle. There's moon cycles. There's all these different things that play into our lives. So really being able to tap into yourself and see what's working for you that day and what's going to feel more balanced when things feel a little off. That's the key. Just constantly checking in and realigning.
Yeah. You said something that actually I'd never thought about. The feeling of being unbalanced is sort of being like uncomfortable. Like I actually am very connected to that in my life. Like when there are days where I feel very comfortable with my schedule, and I really love those days. And then there are days where I feel discomfort. Maybe I'm anxious about something coming up, or I haven't gotten everything I wanted to get done, and it gives me that feeling of discomfort. So that's such a great way to explain that feeling of maybe you're not quite in harmony, and
Mhm.
to see where you're lacking. The other thing is, I feel as though like self-care is a foundational piece, which you touched on, to feeling that feeling of harmony and comfort. How much does that come into play when you're working with your clients, self-care itself?
I think that my perspective on what self-care really is, I think people typically think massages and getting to, good certain amount of sleep and drinking a certain amount of water and kind of spa things. And, some of those things typically are top of mind. But I actually think self care truly is a constant thing. It's connected with the alignment, it's connected with how we're feeling. And it is really about checking in to see how we can take back our power in the so many ways that we give it away constantly by through self-awareness and then self-trust. That's what I think true self-care is. So, example of taking back your power, or first of all, how you give it away, like saying yes when you really want to say no, or vice versa,
Mhm.
or saying yes or no when you're not ready to really say either, and you're kind of caught off guard and you want some time to really check in with yourself and see what's best for you. We very often are doing one of those things against ourselves and not really saying what we want. And
Mhm.
so we give away our power by saying something knee jerk or to make someone happy or just because we're uncomfortable or whatever it is. And so the self-awareness in the moment to catch yourself and realize what you want to say, or buy yourself some time so you can get up the nerve to say it. And then the self-trust of being able to follow through with what really is best for you. Listen to that in the first place and then follow through with it.
Yeah. I love that distinction you make, that self-care is not just about a spa day. Is self-care is so many things. It's about your boundaries, that awareness that you explained, and it's about maybe for different people, I bet self-care looks different, right? Because
Mhm.
you get comfort and ease out of different things. For some people, working out is their self-care, but for others, like, that's not self-care for me. I don't want to be putting in all that energy and call it self-care. Obviously it's very important to move, but just I was just trying to highlight that it could look different for different people, but absolutely sort of those foundational things about boundaries, being self-aware and self-trusting, that it's okay for you to do that for yourself.
Mhm. Yeah. One of
And
my
I
big ones these days, at least once a week, if not more, is I'll take a nap.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
randomly in the middle of the day when I just feel if I try to just push, I'm just powering through, which is an old habit, and I don't wanna do that to myself. So just go lay down.
Do you know what? I've been doing that too. It's so weird, but I never used to be able to take a nap in the middle of the day, but I have found that when I submit to it, I'm feeling better. So it's so interesting, and a lot of it is trial and error, right? I think
Yeah.
in life, when you're trying to kind of get to that harmonious state. So tell me, when you work with your clients, do you have sort of a process that you use, or is there anything that is like signature of the way you approach it, rather as opposed to somebody else that's really trying to help clients with getting a better harmony in their life?
Well, I've spent the last 10 years really putting in a lot of time to my to learn all and go through all sorts of different healing modalities and personal development.
Mm,
So, um, I initially got a coach for myself, and that led me to become a coach. I've explored all kinds of different things. And what I've done is I've pulled together what I found to be the most helpful tools and tips and tricks that I've learned and like put them together in my program. And then I continue to teach people through um, ongoing master classes that are clients of mine or a handful that I have that do one-on-one with me, but primarily through my program. So I've brought together key pieces from my foundational modalities are through fearless living and positive intelligence. And they're both science-based modalities. I've like merged pieces of them together in a creative way that made sense to me because I found so many great things from both. So I found a way to weave them together, and that's what I've brought to the table, along with other random things that I've found along the way that I found to be helpful, the most helpful for me.
yeah.
So that's what I've done.
Yeah, no, I think that it's amazing, when you create a signature process, it's like you educate yourself so well, and then you kind of take the best of everything, the cream of the crop from everything, and then you put your own twist on it, and it becomes kind of your signature, your secret sauce for how you do that. And one of the questions I have that I was really curious is when people achieve sort of this harmony or alignment, if life happens, right, and curveballs get thrown our way, and then it throws you off alignment, would you recommend in instances like that where you're either faced with a tragic life experience or something really just throws you off?
I think, first of all, when I think about something like a curveball, I think it's powerful to consider that there's curveballs that actually happen every day. It's some of them we like more than others.
Ah,
And, so, because a curveball doesn't have to be a bad thing, it could end up being a good thing for you. And really even like we talked about before, even the most challenging ones, like the accident that I was in, if you give it enough, sometimes you need to give it space, time, and healing, but if you do give that enough, then you will find, I believe, or it would behoove you to find the gift and the opportunity in it. So, I think having a perspective of knowing and being willing and open to the fact that there could be a gift and or an opportunity in every curveball,
yeah.
first of all, can reframe it so that it's like, okay, no matter what comes at me, if I may not see it right away, but at some point I may be willing to see that there was something good out of this. So I think that, first of all, having that willingness to consider that as a possibility someday and just have that perspective for living life is really empowering. And then the next thing is awareness of yourself, especially your emotions and your body signs and signals, to what I refer to as like your inner compass, or you
Mm,
might call it your intuition or your gut, or just these things that come up for us, to listen to how we're responding to things and catch the sooner you catch it, the sooner you catch those uncomfortable feelings, which would be connected to a reaction to a curveball, then the sooner you have a chance to like realign, recenter. It no matter how huge and scary it is, you do have an opportunity to do that. And if you're the more aware you are of yourself and all these different signals that you can learn, you can develop the skill to become more aware, and then you can practice that, and then you'll be able to have a quicker realignment, a quicker come to harmony, no matter what comes your way.
yeah, that's really good advice. Because this is something that most people, are challenged by, right? Just kind of creating this harmony and this alignment in their life. What is the biggest mistake you see people do that sabotages their ability to have the harmony, to have the balance in life?
I think, I think the giving into the excuses,
Mm,
there's 2 things, and I actually I do a lot of work on this with my clients. Excuses and expectations.
yeah.
So, anytime you feel disappointment or all sorts of other uncomfortable feelings often can be connected back with having an expectation of how of some result or some way someone was going to be or something turning out a certain way. And so learning those signs early on and being able to ward those off and having intentions around things in a certain there's a framework that I do that can help you avoid having those expectations and practice that. And then excuses also being able to really look at how much we live our life having excuses and how common it is for us to have some version of I'll get to this then or later I'll the extreme way of looking at this too for busy people is, well, I'll sleep when I die. That kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
flippant remark that people
Yeah.
it's so being able to um like when is enough enough? Like,
Yeah.
what are you waiting for? What are you
Right.
waiting for? How many more because I remember living my life in such a way that like something would come up that wasn't work related and I would be annoyed by it. Like, "Ugh, I have to go deal with this thing. Like, I have to schedule a doctor's appointment or I have to do this, whatever. And that kind of that inconvenience, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll deal with it later. I just need to get through this thing. I just need to get through this thing. And then, well, now I need to get through this thing. And then, well, I just have these deadlines. And then, well, after this show. And it, and then goes on for months and then years and then a decade or 2, and then you're like, suddenly, if you're like me, hitting, at that time when I became more aware, late 30s, and kind of waking up to, "Whoa, okay, I'm about to hit my 40s. What okay, wake up call moment."
Yeah.
So, now I'm getting closer to hitting my 50s in a couple years, and I'm
Yeah.
really grateful that I did not let those excuses, those expectations, and that thought of just kind of that habit of waiting and putting things off. I'm so grateful that I did not succumb to that any longer than I did because I'd be entering, just the saying, when's the best time to plant a tree? It's 20 years ago or today.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, if not
That
now, then when?
yeah.
Right? That's what comes to my mind. If not now, then when? And, in response to what you were saying, I had my new a lot of us business owners, we come up with a word for the year or a phrase for the
Mhm.
year. My phrase last year was, and it continues to be this year, "Do it now." Because what I found is that even like my doctor's appointment, my schedule it when I leave the other one. Even my nail appointment, when I schedule it when I leave that one. Otherwise, it doesn't get done and then it gets put off. And then by the time you realize that you need to do it, it's too late, and time has passed. So do it now. And if not now, then when, when is the best time to plant a tree? All those thoughts about around don't do the excuses. Like, don't succumb to the excuses. Because that's what that's the mistake we make most of the time. So that's really insightful. I loved our conversation around that. If there was one takeaway that you would tell the audience from today's show or from your life's work that you really want just to imprint as a brain tattoo in their head, what would that one takeaway be?
I think, actually coming off what we just discussed, it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes,
Yeah.
which I think summarizes this well and could be a great takeaway, by Confucius. And it's, "We have 2 lives, and the second one begins the moment we realize we only have one."
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love, I have a love for philosophy. I'm not, I was like, if I lived in the old world, I would have been a philosopher. I just, it's just such a great way to look at the world and to think deeply. I love that. You told me at the top of the show that you have an offer for everybody here of something that you're gifting to everybody that puts in the hashtag balance and shine. So hashtag balance and shine, whether they're listening to it live or on the replay. The hashtag is balance and shine. What is that? Can you tell us what you're giving us?
Yeah, I'm so for that special, that you guys have to, you know, put in the hashtag to be able to get is they will give you a link to schedule a free call with me. And I don't put this out there publicly. I rarely offer this up to an audience, to be honest. And so, but that'll be a link to schedule a free call with me and see how I can support you. And so that will be what you can get with that hashtag.
Yeah, wow, that's really generous because I know time is, especially for a coach who talks about life work balance, time is your biggest asset, right? It's your biggest, most precious commodity. So thank you for giving us that and offering that up. It's hashtag balance and shine. Whoever puts it in there will be checking in, and then we will then privately forward you the link and you'll get to get some really great advice and tips on how to really achieve that. So, how about a couple tips we can leave the audience with?
Okay.
I know we've talked about a lot of things, but like a couple really key tips here.
So one is something that is part of positive intelligence. It's the basic concept is, and there's a PQ rep. PQ stands for positive intelligence quotient.
Okay.
And it's this framework that is core to something that I found work phenomenally. And the concept is, and it's totally science based, it pulls together all sorts of different studies, focusing on one sense when you feel any of those uncomfortable feelings, and it starts to kick in and you want to center yourself, realign. And for example, I have a bunch of very specific ones I go in with my clients, but here's just one for an example today. Rubbing two fingers together, and like if you can, shut your eyes if you're safe not driving. If you shut your eyes and you rub two fingers together so intently, you're so focused that you can feel the ridges of your fingerprints.
Mm.
And if you can do that for at least 20 seconds, it is scientifically proven to start shifting your brain to kind of recenter yourself. If you can do it for a couple minutes, much more, I mean, you'll get even greater benefit, but that is just one example of something you can do. You can be on Zoom and still be talking to someone and you notice you're starting to get a little triggered, a little nervous, and you just do that for a little bit for an example, or anywhere at any time. It can be something doesn't look strange,
Yeah.
because people are constantly playing, touching their fingers. And
Yeah.
so that's one tip for kind of something you can do on a just recenter yourself. And then another is I have a phrase. So I feel like I lived a lot of my life, even as a child, and then with the busyness, kind of going for it, like go for it, kind of that, high achieving, go getter, powerful, I can do anything, which there's nothing wrong with that, except that many of us tend to like keep going for it. And then that we're not present and we're not in that balance and living our life and enjoying the moments. So I have changed that. Instead of go for it, the reframe of it is flow for it.
Oh, I like that.
Flow for it is my phrase.
Yeah.
So I don't know, came up with that one day and I have it like as a screensaver on my computer. And it's just a reminder to me. And it kind of just makes me drop my shoulders a little bit and ease into things. Because if you think about flow, like for me, I think about a stream or a creek bed or, water that flows. And it's not trying to fight with the rocks that are in its way. It
Right.
just figures out how to go over or around or maybe just sit there for a while, whatever it needs to do. So I'm not saying don't go for your dreams and go for what you want, but if you're a high achiever already, you kind of don't need the extra motivation. If anything, you need to learn how to ease into yourself and ease into your life so that it doesn't pass you by.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a river around a rock and just letting it, so your term flow for it. I love that. That's a great reminder. Tools. Is there a tool or any tool that you can recommend for the audience if they wanted to really start aligning themselves in all areas of their lives?
I uh my podcast. My
Yeah.
podcast would be an excellent tool, and if you're listening to this, then you might be interested in another to check out because I know I'm a fellow podcast listener and I'm always intrigued by new ones. And many of my episodes, most of them are very short, like even 10-ish minutes or less.
Okay.
And they're like packed. Like a lot of my reviewers talk about they love that I just get cut right to it. I'll get to a story. There's a message, a lesson, a tool, or something, and then no fluff. And they feel like they're getting some great tips. So it's Cherish Your Life, and so that would be a great tool, especially for listeners here.
Yeah, I love that. I'm gonna go and listen and subscribe. Cherish.
Cherish Your Life.
Uh-huh.
Yep, yep. I guess under my name there, if people are watching visually. So Cheris, my name's tricky. If you're listening and you can't see the screen, it's basically it's like the city Paris, but it's with a CH. So
Yeah,
CHARIS is the easiest way for spelling and pronouncing
yeah.
Cherish Your Life. Little play on words.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Cherish your life. And finally, give us an action item. Give us something to just put us into action. We're definitely going to listen to the podcast. I know I am. And we've got some of these tactical tools to like take away the discomfort when we're feeling that intense discomfort or triggers. But is there a takeaway? Like, I'm sorry,
Yep.
is there an action item that will spring us right into action?
Yep, if you're watching the video, he just shared the link. If you go to cherishyourlife.com/video, I've got a free training. So I go much more in depth than I do in podcast and in a different kind of a way. And it's titled How to Live Life on Your Own Terms and Timeline and Stop Sacrificing Your Sanity, Personal Space, or Social Life. So I've got a free training to get some free coaching from me with this video at cherishyourlife.com/video. And that is like brand new as of just a couple of weeks ago.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see it myself. And thank you so much. You gave us such a wealth of information, Cheris. And not only that, I just loved having the conversation with you. This is a conversation that could span multiple shows because there's so much to know to really like delve deep so that you can actually have this awareness and live in this aware state of your life and as it passes and as you experience things. So thank you for being here. It was amazing to have you. I hope we can stay connected and maybe even have you back on the show at some point. And to the Waist Up Wardrobe audience, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening live. Thank you for listening to the replay. Listen to this replay. There's so much goodness here. And with the hashtag Balance and Shine, you've got a really special offer waiting for you from Cherish. And you know the drill. We're going to be here again on Thursday, next Thursday live, 11:30 Pacific. Go rate us and review us on iTunes. Check us out on Instagram and YouTube. However you want to listen to us or connect with us, do it. And we can't wait to see you again next week and invite a friend. How did that feel?
Great. Awesome. Yes.
Good, good. I always want to like make it shorter, but then I get into these questions and we get deeper and I get so granular
Oh,
with
me too.
questions.
Yeah, my guest episodes, I have a intention and now I'm just giving in and I'm just like, this is gonna be 45 minutes to an hour, and I just gotta be okay with that.
Well, it's like when you said that your episodes are short and sweet, I'm like, that's really what I intended because I
No,
know
but not
people.
my guest.
Oh, okay.
Not guest episodes, my weekly solos.
Oh, okay, okay, that makes more sense. Okay,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes more
no.
sense. Like, she's getting that she's doing that, and I can't get that done.
Oh gosh, no. No, 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 my guest episodes, I haven't had one shorter than 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep them right now at 45 minutes because we were sometimes going an hour, but the reality is people, they don't have the patience to stay on that long, but every part of it is important, like, especially the meat in the middle and, it just getting to know the guests, that's all really important to me, but, um, you know, I really, loved having you. I'd love to stay connected.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
really starting to think about building a community, and I just tell you this because I've just been so impressed by the quality of the guests that I've been able to connect with over time, and through Podbean or Podmatch, that I am thinking of, like, kind of building a little community maybe we can have because I wanna stay connected because I could see partnerships in the future and, just being able to promote each other, give value and that kind of thing. So would it be okay for me to stay connected with you? I don't
Yeah.
know how I have to, I might just shoot you an email. I'm trying to think about how to do that. Maybe like put us in circle together and connect everybody together or on a Facebook page. I'm not sure, but if you don't mind me reaching out to you
Yeah,
to.
I would love it. No, I would love it. I speaking of Circle, I just joined 2 networks that are on Circle, this week,
Okay.
that are, bigger, Entreprenista?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something I'll send you an email with these 2 because they came highly recommended to me by, a PR expert who's
Okay.
had really great success in there and being able to get opportunities to speak to those groups too, but they want you to be a member and
Yeah.
be, and the other one has a longer name. The name I put in an application, I'm waiting, the name of the group, they call it the 10th house, but the
Oh,
organization has a 3 I can't remember the name now, but the 10th house is what they call their group, and, both of them I think are primarily I think both are well, Entrepreneurista is definitely women, and I think the other one is too.
okay.
But they were highly recommended to me and things I just checked out. Just speaking of if you're, curious about networks, but as far as a smaller group that you is people you have chosen and handpicked,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You've got my email. So
Great. I will connect with you for sure. I'm trying just I will tell you that every entrepreneur that I've had on the show has been so outstanding. Just really great information and so many collaborations I could foresee. So I think it could
mhm.
be very beneficial for everybody. So just something that kind of popped into my mind as I was really meeting people because typically I'll meet my guests like in my own networking group, but now I'm meeting them so many different ways and I want to bring everybody together. I think that could be very valuable. So thank
Yeah.
thank you for being here and I hope this is productive for you and I hope we get to connect again. So
Oh, me too. Me
yeah,
too. Thank you so much for having me, Christine. I really enjoyed it. And oh, I was like, who's that?
it's our producer.
Just me.
Hello. Yeah, and I, look forward to staying connected. Like you said, you just never know. And definitely synergy. And I love what you're doing and the caliber, the quality that you bring to the table is really impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. I have started something with actually Susie Hickson, who was on the show today, is it's myself, her, and another entrepreneur, a friend that we've created something called the Collab Circle. So I wonder if maybe we can fold that in and bring a lot of these people together because it's just a great we can mastermind. We can brain like it could be really powerful. So I'll keep you posted as long as you're
Okay.
open. I don't
Yeah.
want to bug you, but yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Rick, she did a great job, didn't she? Wasn't
Oh,
that?
yeah, excellent job. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for, making it easy for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
That
very
was great.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I look forward to it. So you'll be in touch when you have the plan for it dropping or well, I guess it's I mean, it was live today, but then the podcast episode and the link and things.
Yeah, so it's live and it will stream to multiple platforms. I think it's iTunes and Spotify and Podbean, I believe.
Mhm.
So you can actually start telling people about it anytime.
Oh.
It is live on Facebook. So
Yeah.
right, Rick, and it's on
Face-
YouTube.
yeah, right now it's live. The replay is available immediately on Facebook and YouTube, and then it'll be a couple days to get it on iTunes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, super. Well, pleasure meeting you both, and have a great rest of your day and upcoming weekend here.
Yeah,
Great.
and we'll be in touch.
Okay,
You
Okay.
too. Take care.
bye.
All right.
That was amazing. I thought
Yeah, that was good.
it's just the quality of entrepreneurs that we're getting through Podmatch is really great. And so I'm starting to think like I could create a whole community of people that want to, if I can create like a private Facebook page. But Susie and Kristen, I had created something called the Collab Room. I don't know if I told you about this a while ago.
A while ago.
Yeah, we meet like periodically and we mastermind. And I really want to grow that because we can really join some really great minds and really benefit each other. So let's do the recap because I have a couple things I want to talk to you about offline because I know where everybody can hear us if they wanted to. So. Okay. Take a minute to get my thoughts together.
All right.
Trying to think how I always have to think about how I start it. Let's see. So let's face it, high achievers, which includes a subset. Let me try again. Let's face it, high achievers, business owners, entrepreneurs, well, they are busy doing things, growing things, and really going. But during that time that they're growing, they do lose track of their work-life balance and they find themselves out of alignment, out of balance, and not having very, very harmonious life. Should I try? I'll do it over again because I feel like my energy was down too, right?
Oh, I kind of like that one, but yeah, go ahead.
I'll do it again. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's face it, busy people, overachievers, entrepreneurs, and business owners, they get really busy growing and going for it and being go-getters. But as they do that, as they develop their businesses and they grow, sometimes they lose track of their work-life balance. And that can be no fun because how do you get the joy out of your achievements if you're out of harmony or you're not aligned, right? So, okay. So that you can, okay. I'll try it again. Let's face it, entrepreneurs, busy business owners are always busy growing their businesses and trying to get better and better, achieving more and more. But during that process, sometimes they lose track of their work-life balance. And if you don't have a great work-life balance, that can suck the joy out of your achievements. And who wants that? So how do you create an alignment in your life between work and being busy so that you can achieve that balance, that harmony, and really enjoy every moment of your life? That good?
Yes, good. Great.
Okay, so let me see. Trying to remember what her takeaway was. Okay. In Waist Up Wardrobe, episode 130. I'm gonna try again. The smart achiever is busy but balanced too. In episode 130, a smart achiever is busy but is balanced too. We talk about, start over again. All these seem to be my warm-ups. Okay. In episode 130, a smart entrepreneur, in episode 130, a smart achiever is both busy but balanced as well. In episode 130, a smart achiever is busy, but also balanced. In Waist Up Wardrobe Weekly Wrap Up. In episode 130 of Waist Up Wardrobe, a busy achiever is balanced. In episode 130 of Waist Up Wardrobe, now I'm starting to stumble. Okay. In episode 130 of Waist Up Wardrobe, in episode 130 of Waist Up Wardrobe, a busy achiever. In episode 130 of Waist Up Wardrobe, a high achiever is not only busy, but pays attention to being balanced. And the Waist Up Wardrobe weekly wrap up in a nutshell for episode 130 boiled down to this. The main takeaway is stop making excuses. Those are the things that are time killers. You make an excuse to put something off, and very quickly you realize that time flies and you don't get anything done and you're not happy doing it. Okay, so then I'm going to start a tip.
Yep, that'll work.
A tip that our guest on episode 130 gave us is trying to focus on a particular sense when you're feeling that discomfort of being too busy or overwhelmed. And the example she gave is taking two fingers and really closing your eyes and focusing in on the feeling that you feel. You can feel the ridges of your fingerprints when you do that, and that can get you quickly centered. That was a great little tip, and we are going to take that advice. Finally, okay, I'm going to go with tools. You can use that for tip, right?
Yes.
Okay. And an incredible tip that she let us in on tool. And an incredible tool that she let us in on is her podcast, Cherish Your Life. So go listen to her. And an incredible tool that she let us in on is her podcast, Cherish Your Life. So go listen to the podcast. They're short and sweet, and get as much goodness, squeeze as much goodness out of that as you can, as a great tool to really trying to achieve that alignment and harmony in your life. And finally, action item. Yeah. I don't know. Did you get an action item from this I can use? I kind of forgot.
Wasn't it the video?
Oh,
No?
the video. Yeah. To go listen to the video. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And finally, action item. Okay, Cheris on the episode, that's our guest. She gave us a link to a video to get started, to really just spring into action. So go listen to the episode, get the link for that video, and sit down and listen to it. Is that good enough?
I'm good with that.
Mhm.
All right, let
All
me
right, can
stop.
we fill the feed?